Yes.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. Let's wait just a little bit to see if some of you can join us in a few seconds, on 1 minute or so. Okay, so we probably can start now, and then some of our attendees will join in the meanwhile. So, hi everyone, and welcome to OLC's webinar on Android modularization for a fast growing app. I'm Anna, I'm part of the Landing.Jobs team, and I will be the host for today. Like I was saying, while we are waiting for our colleagues and our attendees, I hope you are well seated and ready for this amazing presentation that we gathered for you. All of you probably know a lot of and about OLC's Group, but for those who don't, OLC's Group is the world's fastest growing network for trading platforms, and they are committed to shaping the future of trade to unlock the hidden value in everything. Today with us, we have Motaz El Taef. He is a senior Android engineer at OLC's Group. Motaz has been working most of his professional life with Android, but he has also done backend and front-end development and AR, VR. He's passionate about writing clean code, testable architecture, and beautiful UI. And he also believes that the knowledge that you share is the knowledge that you maintain. This is really important, and I really like this. Right now, we are just giving some more minutes to uh, get some more people in. But if you have a question throughout this session, please feel free to leave your questions in the Ask a Question button. You will find this button in the bottom right of the crowdcast. Also, if you have any comments during the presentation that you would like to share, we have a chat available for you, so you can always leave a comment there. And we will see that in due time, probably in the end of the presentation, but we will see if Motaz wants to answer you right away. It can do that, of course. And I think that's it. We have just the right amount of people here. So Motaz, thank you so much for being here with us, and the stage is yours.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you for having me. And I would like to welcome the audience to this webinar. And the main topic today is talking about modularization for small scaling. And yeah, let me share my screen. Great. So yeah, thank you also, Anna, for the presentation. Yeah, about me, about OLX. Yeah, OLX is a trading platform for cars. If you want to sell your car, find housing, get jobs, and or buy and sell household goods, and much more than that. And at OLX, we started like a small team, and then with time we started to grow and grow and grow like really, really fast, and that came with its own challenges. And yeah, this is why I wanted to do this webinar and talking about modernization and how that helped us overcome those issues. So the agenda for this today presentation is like a welcome word after this, and then why opt for modularization? What's the reason behind choosing a modular architecture for our application? And then we will see how to approach modularization. Also, we are going to see a real life example that we have at OLX, and what modularization can help us achieve with that. we will see also some learnings, and in the end, we will have a session of question and Q&A session. So, yeah, like growing Android projects can reach certain scale when working with a single model starts to become a little bit problematic. For example, like build speed is getting slower, boundaries between features start to be a little bit blurry, merge conflicts are daily nightmare, and tests are too slow to run on the CI. And that's just to name some of the problems that we might face like on daily basis. And to overcome these hurdles and enable smooth scaling, one solution to consider is modularization. And at OLX, we went through this journey, and this webinar, I want to share why we went with modularization, what's the outcome, and the learnings from this journey. So yeah, let's start with why did we choose modularization? Probably when you grow like really fast, one of the things that you start to notice is like the project is getting bigger and bigger, and then the build time is getting slower and slower. And yeah, we all know about that meme when it says, "Hey, it's compiling, it's compiling." So we also know that the main build system for Android applications is the Gradle, and among many things Gradle can do, there is like two things that can speed up build time greatly. First is caching, work that is already did, so it doesn't have to do it again. And second, it is to do as much possible work in parallel. So both of these capabilities aren't applicable for a single module applications. As every code change, it makes it impossible to reuse the already compiled code. And as a result, all the code has to be recompiled again and sequentially. However, with multi-modal apps, Gradle can build several models in parallel and evolve building models that have no code change in them, and that it's already cached. So what this means that this speeds up incremental builds and even clean builds, because yeah, as we saw, it can compile models in parallel. So yeah, this one of the reason modularization helps a lot with the build time. Next, it is also makes it easy to test. So with isolated feature models, modularization can enable a feature to be tested without having to step through other parts of the app. This speeds up the tests, simplifies test setup, and increases their ability, since a feature in theory should not know the implementation details of another feature. So isolating the feature, you also isolate the tests with that feature. The third reason is a fast CI pipeline. So a monolithic project means running all tests on CI on every merge request. This can be a little bit costly and slow, especially with a big number of contributors and merge requests. So by modularizing the app, we are also modularizing the test, and we can optimize the pipeline by running the test in a model only if that model or a dependent model has changed. So if like if you make your changes in one model and you didn't change all the the rest of the models, there is no reason to run all the tests for all the feature models. Also with caching, an incremental CI does not have to recompile cached and unchanged models. This will result in a lower cost for instrumentation tests. Like in our case, for example, we are using a Firebase test lab to run UI tests. And in Firebase test lab, there is a cap on like a free UI test. And above that, you are paying an hourly rate for using their for using their services. It will also lower the cost for high performance on demand cloud runners. Like normally with a big setup on the cloud. So what that means? That means that you have like runners that start the pipeline, like run, build, execute unit tests and stuff, and that also costs money. And usually it is also like if you choose on demand, that will be also rated hourly. And by optimizing your pipeline and only running the necessary tests or the models that have been changed, you are also optimizing the costs for your runners. Next is like a parallel development and co-ownership. The more people that work on a code base, the more files that will be modified concurrently, causing a hell of merge conflicts. And this feels like devs are stepping on each other's toes. Like every time you want to, you make a merge request, then you have conflicts, then you need to like rebase or merge master into your branch, solve those conflicts, blah, blah, blah. And this is also like wastes a lot of time. And modularization softs the blow, because if you split your app in a proper way, you can delegate the ownership of particular feature model to a particular team or particular people. So this will completely this will help completely avoid the concurrent modifications, or at least limiting the problems to a smaller set of models. Also, we have the side effects. Modularization helps minimize or avoid spaghetti code. In a modularized world, you would still have spaghetti code inside your models, but at least it would be like a smaller and easily digestible portions. A clear contract between the models will help decoupling things, avoiding that one change causes side effects somewhere else. But it also forces you to group code into like a smaller, coherent parts. That makes the code easier to read, understandable, and yeah, consequently, maintenance will also become a lot easier. It's also easier to build several small things than trying to build one huge thing. Yeah, lower complexity. When all the code is living in one single model, that model gets bigger and bigger. The complexity of the app increases and becomes unmaintainable. Simple features takes longer to implement, and refactoring starts to look like an exhausting task. But with modularization, the app is broken down into like smaller pieces that can be maintained. Refactoring and code migration are simpler and especially less risky. And that will also enable you to try or experiment in new things. So, for example, if you want to try and migrate few screens, let's say in the recent Jetpack Compose, it will be easier, for example, to start doing that in a small model and see how that goes, and you can later on migrate like a feature by feature, that one. Next, let's see how we can approach modularization. So when we talk about models, I'm talking about two types of models. Like first type is a layer model, and then a feature model. What is a layer? What is like a layer model? A layer model will help us like achieve isolation of layers of the app, bring structure to the app, and isolate third-party libraries, and like help avoid vendor locking, like analytics or map service providers or any other libraries. An example of layer models could be like you could extract your design system. That's a layer, like the UI base UI layer. You can have like a layer, a model with like common helpers and utilities that you are using. You can extract the analytics into its own layer model, or the network, etc. That, of course, always depends on the project itself. And what about the feature model? The feature model, what it does, it brings encapsulation of business flows and also enables on-demand delivery. An example of like feature models could be like authentication, chat. In our case, in OLX, we also have the delivery, and yeah, many business flows can be extracted, and they have their own domain and they have their own features. And yeah, a feature model can also have like all the layers that it needs. For example, it can also have its own API client, network client, whatever it needs. It can use like something that is common shared, but it can also have its own things. So how do we approach a monolith modularization? Like if you have like a monolithic project, how can you start breaking down into like multi-models? Like I said, we have the layer model, we have the feature model. What should we do? In our case, in OLX, we did like a mix and match of layer modularization. And what we did is we started extracting the layer modularization, and yeah, extract the common layers. For example, after analyzing the project, what we needed to have in common was definitely the design system. That's something that needs to be common, accessible to all the feature models. You can also extract all the helpers, the core interfaces, the core models. Like for example, the things that are responsible for the identifying is the user identity that you have. We started with those layer models, and after that, we started to do we moved to the feature modularization as a second phase. So when we have like the base layer models in hand, we can start extracting. We started extracting features into their own models, and so we also will satisfy the feature dependencies with the common, with the design and core utils like in the layer model. Now let's see like a real life example about what modularization can help us achieve. For example, in OLX, we have the delivery pay and ship. So a buyer can buy a product that is being promoted on the platform. And in this case, what we have here, we have a screen. Well, let me maybe mention something that is quite specific to the OLX. So the OLX app is actually a multi-market or a multi-flavor app. And due to market specifics, we can have some differences in a feature or like for different markets. And in other cases, maybe we want to experiment and run an A/B test in the same market or in a different markets. So the example below is about a feature that we call buy with delivery. And the screenshot represents the feature in two different markets, Romania and Poland. So the left example is the Romania and the right example is Poland. It is literally the same feature, but just different designs. And yeah, how do we achieve that? Like if you have something that shares something in common but has its own dependencies, the way how we structured the models around that we splitted the feature model into like three sub-models. So the public model, which is like that's the model that contains the public interface, the contract to how to interact with the feature. And since this feature has also its own implementation, which is as you can see here, implementation PL or implementation Romania. But also we are creating a third model that acts as like the wiring between the implementation and the contract, the interface. So what does that mean? For example, now the app can, of course, let's say here, the contract, the interface that is needed for that feature to be injected in that screen is like this one here. You have the interface, and you have a function to create that function. It will return a view. Okay, that will live inside here, inside the public model. The detailed implementation will be like in implementation PL or implementation Romania, and the wiring implementation Ro and wiring implementation PL. Those are the models that specifies the dependencies that are needed for the implementation. Why we introduced those? Because with those you can actually if we want to have like a test dependencies instead of the real dependencies to the real server, we can like use, for example, like a test implementation wiring. And yeah, that's also the model that is responsible for the providing the dependencies to other features. And yeah, let's say this is the contract, and here this is how we define how to create that specific view for the delivery inside the add view. And the way how you implement that is like in the app model, the main model, we simply implement the public model, but on the other hand, the other two features are implemented through the flavor implementation. Like I said, if you have a multi-flavor, then you can like have a specific flavor dependencies. So for the Polish variant of that screen, we are including we are adding the dependency to that to the delivery PL implementation wiring, and for the Romanian one, we are adding the implementation wiring for Romanian market. And so both of them are implementing the same contract. So this will make it very clear and very simple. The dependency is always there, but whatever different flavor you have like the flavor that implements that contract, that interface, but with its specific implementation for that market. The learnings about modularization. What did we learn about that? Like, first of all, dealing with modularization, like for things specific to Gradle, is like the first thing we need to think of is managing the dependencies efficiently and avoiding like circular dependencies and unifying the dependencies version across all models. Like, that's really a must for a successful modularization. In our case, we are using like dependencies, a dependency file under the build source and the root project, and all our Gradles are using. Sorry, we have someone is drilling. Sorry. Yeah. So you need to have like the same versions of the same libraries on all your models, and the way how we did it is like to create a dependency file under the build source, and that's a Kotlin file that will be compiled and will be available to all the models in your project. And great. Another solution that is coming soon for that is a Gradle catalog. Gradle catalog is like a feature on Gradle that is still in an experimental state, and that promises a really nice and clean way to manage dependencies. So yeah, maybe we should keep an eye on that one because it looks really awesome, and definitely once it goes stable, we will definitely try to check it out. Yeah. Also, one of the most important learnings is that you need to, before you start modularization, like you need to make sure that all your styles and resources are available to all models. This is honestly like the number one step that you need to think of when if you want to start modularizing a monolith project, or even starting from scratch. Extract the styles and the resources into their own model and make them available to all your features. Dependency injection, or DI in short. So managing and providing dependencies between models is one of the most important pieces of successful modularization. Feature models will have their GI models definition and the implementation wiring in our case. This will also helps with providing mocks instead of production dependencies, while the common dependencies will be defined in the main app model. Navigation. There are many ways to achieve navigation between features. It could be through an interface where a redirection is defined into the wiring model. It could be also done via intent actions defined in the manifest. Or if you want, if you are using Jetpack navigation, well, you can also use that. Yeah, so I think I'm open to any questions you have.
Thank you, Motaz, for your presentation. It was really interesting. At the moment, we have here one question. Let's see and hope that our attendees can make some more questions. I will start with this one, and we'll see what we have in the next minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So, have a dependencies grade. I don't know what this means because I'm not technical, but Gradle
Mm-hmm.
KTS, you know what this is probably.
Yes.
On builds SRC wrote
Mm-hmm.
has a problem that IntelliJs do not recommend you to update your dependencies as they have new releases. How do you keep them updated without IDE help?
I think the IDE help right now is already there. I definitely can see like the suggestion of the IDE that you have a dependencies, and then on the end you just like include the dependency version as a variable from that dependencies in the build source. You can see the I think with the latest version of the Android Studio, you can see like the recommendation. I definitely have it, but also I am also subscribed on all the releases of the third-party libraries that we are using on the GitHub. Well, if that helps, there is also this like the Android Jetpack releases page. I'm checking that like periodically. So yeah, sometimes if you don't get the not all the time you get the hint from the IDE, and yeah, sometimes I get the hint from the IDE. Sometimes I look into the releases manually by myself, see what's new, and then like we do an update. This is why I said like hopefully in the future, once this Gradle catalog will be stable and fully working, that will make things even like cleaner. So finger crossed.
Thank you. Next question we have here another one. What's the process criteria used to propagate updates in dependencies?
Criteria. Yeah, well, I hope that I understand correctly your question, but the criteria is like we are using, first of all, only stable version of all the libraries, and we define all those like library versions and that dependencies dot like the dependency file and the build src, and the libraries inside the models, we only like we put the model name and the version as uh, yeah, as a variable, like imported variable from that file, because it's after you compile that build source model, it becomes available to all the other submodels. So I'm not sure about criteria per se, to be honest with you.
If Joel seems that this was not really the
Mhm.
question, please try and clarify us and we will get to you again. We have here another question that is OLX uses a dynamic feature. And we have here a link for a job for Android developer. It's a guide. I don't know if you can open it. Probably you can. In here in the ask a question button, you can see this link.
Oh, okay. Hi, Alex. Use dynamic features. Oh, yeah. To be honest with you, we do not use dynamic features for the reason that our project is multi-flavor project, and dynamic feature combined with like a multi-flavor, it's simply a disaster. Google it didn't make it that simple to do that yet. We wanted to try it before, but it made us a lot of issues. For example, you cannot like specify if a dynamic feature should be installed per flavor base. We cannot do that yet with dynamic feature. So unfortunately, we didn't use that. Yeah.
Great. Another question. Did you migrate monolith to mono or multi repo?
We actually migrated into a monorepo. We are using a single repository, but with like submodels defined inside it. So yeah, it's still one project code base, but with multiple model inside.
Great. Two more. Can we go? Can we keep going?
Yep.
Oh, great. So, from what I saw in your presentation, that the
Mhm.
contract in returning a view, does this mean that the future model is going to return view, not actively or fragment, always or at the specific cases only?
Uh, that depends on the feature itself. For example, like that feature that I showed, I can go back, I think, to maybe
Yes.
make it simpler for everyone to follow. So if you can see here, like the section in the middle, that's the sub view that is responsible for the buy with delivery. But the rest of the screen is actually it's a different fragment. So you have in this use case, we only need like a view that we need to inject inside like a whole fragment. So yeah, it is always depends on your use case. Sometimes you need the whole screen. Sometimes you need like a view. It depends.
Okay. One more. Do you have some common models like
Mhm.
network shared with all features? Or have you heard about micro front ends and are you going to approach like that?
Uh, that also depends on the use case. And in the case of OLX, for example, each feature has its own like network service. Let's call it like that. Since we are using retrofit, then you define the service. So each feature has its own service. API service. But what we are having like a common things that we are feeding those services to be able to create them and have the same. For example, like let's say the headers, we need to have the same headers among all the API calls, and those are, for example, defined even on the app model, because you can define them. It's better to provide the definition there, because there you can have access to different flavor per each market. So in our case, that's how we approach it. And again, this is very specific to each project on how it's done.
Okay, thank you. We don't have any more questions from our attendees, but I have one question that I will ask you,
Mhm.
because this is something that normally people don't ask, but they are interested in knowing about.
Sure.
And I'll give you these questions so that you can manage to the next subject. That is, what can people expect from working at OLX Group?
Well, a lot of gifts. I just received like a Christmas gift not long ago. Yeah, it's just joking. But yeah, I mean, I honestly love what I do, and I'm working on the company for more than 3 years. To be honest with you, that's literally like the longest company I ever worked for. And yeah, y- we have a set of challenges, and yeah, you are welcome to add your touch to help improve the project, to move it forward, to learn to do things. I mean, honestly, I have the opportunity to even play with this new Jetpack Compose, which is this new UI toolkit from Google. And yeah, I mean, everything is open. We communicate. We all together. We decide on what we want to achieve, and all opinions are welcome. So yeah, I think it's a great environment to be in.
Thank you. Related to this, we have a green button in here showing the jobs that they have open
Mhm.
right now. I don't want if you want to highlight some exactly.
Yeah.
You can click on this button and see them on Landing.Jobs page if you want to apply. And Motaz is going to speak a little more about this opening so that you see if you are interested in.
Yeah, so we have 200 engineer position for OLX Autos in Barcelona, Spain, and we have one senior Android engineer position for motors open in Portugal, Romania, and Spain. So if by any chance if you live in one of those countries and you are interested, please just drop a word, and yeah, we will get in touch.
Thank you so much. You can always find these jobs posted on the Landing.Jobs page. So if you ever want to see what they are looking for and if you are fit for them, please go there. And they are really wanting to speak to some candidates, so that you will be welcome anytime. And Motaz, I don't know if you want to add some. Oh, I think we have another question coming up.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Do you want me to ask this?
Yes, please. Let's go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. How did you apply modularisation, developing new features in monolith, different squads working, create core models, changes entire apps? Yes, my English is rusty. That's fine. If
Yeah,
you
it's okay.
participate, we are going to make it.
Yeah. So I remember when I joined, the app didn't really have that much of modularization, and believe it or not, now we have around 50 models. So things really grow really fast, and yeah, you need to think about how you want to achieve modularization, and actually writing a new feature as a start for modernization, it's really not a bad idea. I mean, you just go for it, but just make sure that you need to have the dependencies for your feature that you need from the application exposed, so you have access to that. That will somehow will be done through contracts interfaces, or you can extract, for example, a model outside, and then you provision it through dependency injection. in your app. And yeah, you need to check how you can satisfy your dependencies, your feature dependencies from the main application. That's the main takeaway here.
Okay, thank you. Any attendee wants to make any more questions? We are still here, so if you have anything to ask Motaz, here is the time for you to do that. I don't know if you want to give us some more information, Motaz, or speak about something that come to your mind with these questions.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I was like playing a little bit with the application. I did the checkout of the project like from 3 years ago.
Hi.
That did a clean build. A clean build took around like 5 minutes and a half, and then and then like did a checkout of the latest master branch. I did a clean build, and it took around 3 minutes. So even though like the project is actually way much bigger, so just performance wise, compile time wise, it's worth it, to say the least. So yeah, if you are thinking about modularization, just go for it. That's really amazing. You are separating your project into smaller pieces that are easy to maintain, easy to refactor, easy to make it better, easy to own. Yeah, just go with it.
Thank you. I don't know if we have, I don't think we have any more questions. Just people clapping and saying hi. And go, Motaz. I don't know if you saw that. We have here someone cheering you up.
Awesome. Thank you, Adriano.
And I don't think if we don't have anything to speak about more and we don't have any more questions, I think we can finish this webinar in here. And this will be available for you to see again or for you to share with your colleagues and friends if you think this is something that interests them. We will have the links available for you to see this again and share as much as you can, because this was a really interesting presentation, and this is a topic that will be spoken about more in the next year, probably in the next years as well. We have here someone saying great presentation. That was what I was saying. But yes, we have the confirmation from our public that it was a really, really, really great presentation. And I thank you, Motas, for being here. And I thank everyone that is in here with us and listening to this awesome presentation. And hope to see you again in another webinar that we do. And OLCs will probably do this again on another times. And we will join us at that time. So thank you so much. Thank you, Motas, for your awesome presentation again.
Thank you for
And
having me.
see you next time all. Bye.
Bye bye. Thanks everyone.